It is possible to present any landscape design in gCADPlus on a layout sheet in either portrait or landscape view. In this example, it's called legal because it's on a legal piece of paper. If we click to it, you'll find that it's a view in landscape, whereas one called ArcC is a C-size sheet. If we activate it, the viewport, and then display it on the layout, you can see if we zoom extents that we're looking at a portrait view. So you can present the designs in layout in different ways. This design here, which has been drawn in decimal feet as the base unit, as the individual plants are labelled with pieces of text. If I select a piece of text with the rotation angle of 90, but if we move to the top of the sheet here, there's more information. All tough perennials are grouped, the smaller growing perennials are there. Now we could create another layout and put all of that on a layout sheet, but it would be nice to combine them all and make a single drawing of them. So let's see how we might go about that. If we click on the legal, and I'll zoom extents here, we do have some room up in this zone, but I'd really quite like to mask off some of this extraneous material. I can do that. Let's move on to away from layer labels. We'll move on layer 0, and I'll just draw a rectangle with 2 points, and I'll put it like so, and then I'll take that rectangle and make its color white, 255, and I'll apply a fill to it. So in a sense, we've just masked off that area. What that gives us is the opportunity to set up some other floating viewports. If to do that, just right click and pick add a viewport. So we'll pop another viewport up in this area here, double click on it, and what I'm aiming to do now is in that viewport, see if I need to zoom in, see if I can set a column around here. I'm trying to make it as tight as possible, and that will give me a reasonable text height. I may have to drop out and make this group here separate, but let's see how this goes. Display on the layout and deactivate it. So now if we zoom out a little, we can pick that floating viewport and I can move it down like so. I'll unselect all and just zoom in. What I'm after is making sure that the text height's fairly similar, and in fact I've achieved quite a good result. I think they look quite reasonable. So let's make another floating viewport in the same way. We'll add a viewport and we'll put another one in this area here, and once again double click it and see if we can get the rest of the information we need to sit in there. It'll be quite a tricky thing to get the text height of both viewports matching, but we'll see how we go. Display on the layout and deactivate it. As you can see, big difference in text height. What we're really trying to do, we'd like the text to be as close as possible to the text in the design. So what we really need to do, I think, is to not be quite so ambitious, and we'll do that sort of thing. You'll notice there'll be a small area here. We could simply move those across, and let's do that. So let's display on the layout. Now we're about the right height. Deactivate it. So I'll go straight back in here and just move these off to the right just a little. And to make life easier for us in the next step, we'll move these pieces of text and sit them under there. So if we now return here, where we need some text editing, don't we? Magic Carpet has got lowercase there. So it's add another viewport and find a spot that will work for us. Let's hope we can fit it into, we can overlap them if we need to. Maybe maybe it will work. Right, so it depends how much information we've got in this next zone to work with. And I'll zoom in, I can get it a little closer, and there we are. Let's display it on the layout, and I'm not quite there. I need to get it a little tighter, so deactivate. So I really do need to make my viewport a little bit bigger, and double click again to dive in here and make my, might even pay to move that little bit up. We're going quite tight, and then display on the layout, deactivate it, and I'm relatively happy with that. So now I can select all three of the new floating viewports, set their color to white, so white on a white on a white background won't show. We need to move that one down a little, and probably this one down just a tad, and the presentation I think is reasonable now. We've got them all on one sheet. What I'd be inclined to do, I think I need this one to be further down and across, and come down a little, and I think what I would do is dive back in and just adjust that here. Just move this group up a little, come back onto our sheet, and what have I done? I think I might have copied them. That needs some effort. Not sure if I undo, we'll be able to see what happened there. The text orientation seems to be a little different. They're not lining up. So we can use our modify and align text tool, and we can pick all of the text and right click, repeat that command, pick the text to align. Don't right click, we hit the enter key, it's left align, and I want everything to line up like so. Now they match, and now we go back into here, and I'm happy with that. At this point, I think I can safely move that down a little. Why I was fussing with that is that what I want to be able to do is to put a rectangle. I want to put a border, draw a rectangle, 2 points, like so, and like so. Now we can do a final bit of tweaking by picking that viewport. It's proving to be a little tricky to grab hold of now. The rectangle is stopping it, and maybe that's because it's sitting on top, so we'll send it to the back. Now, can we select the viewport? Still can't. And pick that one. Why can't we pick this one or this one? Well, we managed to pick that one. Display on and deactivate. Not quite sure why we're not able to pick this viewport. There we are, we've got it, and move it down. So I had to make my pick box a little bigger. You see now I'm just aligning things. So that has taken me a little while, but I've got the presentation on the sheet the way I want it by using multiple viewports. I might want to put a rounded corner and put my logo. There's some room for our logo over here, and details. Right click and zoom extents. So I hope that's shown. What we need to do is tools and draw order, and send under an object. So this object I want to send under this one. And there we have it. Now we can print our drawing and all will be fine. So I hope that helps in showing multiple viewports on a single drawing. There was one final step to do, and that was to adjust use the tools and draw order and use the send below, so as to make sure that the masking rectangle that was filled was behind the text that's there and the border. So there we have in a sense, it's a compound layout.